So welcome back to Sōlchemy. My name is Mackenzie. I am a certified hypnotherapist, a past life healer, and today we are doing an educational workshop on clearing love blocks. And this is one of my favorite people in the world, Cindy. And she is the one who introduced me to clearing energy. So even though specifically today we are talking about love, and I will have her go into all the details of this, I look at anything and everything exactly the same. It's like money, career, life satisfaction, love, whatever it might be, it always comes down to energy. So when we experience specific blocks like love, and you're getting the same results over and over and over again, and it doesn't matter the mindset, it doesn't matter the actions, you're like, well, maybe I'll try to go after a new type of person, but you're getting the same results. Those are some pretty deep clues that you are experiencing love blocks, and you have something in your energy that is recreating these same circumstances over and over again. And I had met Cindy, this is years ago now. I wish I could figure out what year that was. It was a while ago, but I was truly at my wit's end in my life because I felt like I had done everything right up to that point. And it was like my career could not move forward. My life satisfaction could not move forward. And I had this really, really bad sore throat. And I finally posted in a spiritual group on Facebook. And I'm like, can someone help me? I cannot take these sore throats anymore, this and that. And then Cindy messaged me, and there was just something about her that I resonated with. And she just was like, oh, you're blocked here, blocked there, this and that. And it was like so personalized. I go, oh my God, that's my problem. I have energy blocks. And I started working with her clearing abundance blocks. And I was 100% blocked on all levels, which is not the conversation we'll have today, but that's when my life started moving forward. And it's been an unraveling ever since, because people always think, well, if I want this, I kind of have to add to my bag of tricks. And what I mean by that is we think we have to do something else, be something else, but really it comes to a dismantling on an energetic level of all the crap and garbage that's not serving you. Because you can't take that with you and think that you're going to create a new experience, because you're repeating off those energies. So we got to clear all that out. So with that being said, Cindy, go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm just so happy to have you today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here. And I was thinking about it. I think we've been working together since 2016.
Wow. Okay.
2016. Yeah. So for me, I work as an intuitive healer. I am an intuitive life coach, a Reiki master. I work with the subconscious, identifying and removing energetic blocks. I scan the body in the energetic field, looking for blockages, or I like to say congestion, areas where it looks real dense. Now, energetic blockages can include blocked emotions, past life energy, patterns, beliefs, programs, attachments, cords, vows, oaths. And what I love about energy work, when we start removing the low vibe blocked emotion, your vibration will move up. I've never found anything that works as well on the vibration as energy clearings will, because you're literally removing the low vibe blocked emotions that are holding your frequency down. So that's a little bit about what I do. Do you want me to kind of get into the kind of blocks I see now, or?
Yeah, well, give me a second, because I want to elaborate a little bit on vibration, because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there. And especially on TikTok, you have all these people that are like, it doesn't matter what vibe you are, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Okay, it doesn't matter what vibe you are. It doesn't. I'm just so unpersonalized to it all. I just look at it as energy. It has nothing to do with you or who you are as a question of what dense energies are you harboring within your consciousness that's no longer serving you?
Yeah.
Because when you start clearing your energy, that's like everything I just said, is when things start working for you. And there is a scale. Are you guys familiar with David Hawkins? Okay, maybe that's a whole other conversation. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but you can calibrate your vibration, and you want to expand your frequencies, your vibration, because that's when you start hitting your highest blueprint and having ideal experiences. And that's what Cindy's referring to. And she works on that, and she'll calibrate you and tell you exactly where you are. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, perfect. All right, so since we're talking about love today, I'm going to focus on these type of blockages that I see around kind of love and relationships. So one thing I want to preface is it all starts with us. It starts with us. Self-love is so important because we literally teach people how to treat us by the way we love ourselves, you know. But anyway, I lost my little spot here. Some things that I look for when scanning the energy for love blocks is what energy can be blocking you from creating a lifetime life mate type of relationship or moving into the vibration and alignment of love, which that's kind of what a good place to be. That scale Mackenzie mentions, that's around 500. And that's kind of, I think, where we were created to be. But everything kind of pulls us away from that. So what in the energetic field is blocking the love energy from showing up for you? Some things I look at are, do you have a heart wall? There can be a lot of past life energy creating patterns. What about your beliefs? Do you believe you can be loved? Are you really wanting love? Do you have a messed up definition of love? Your parents' definition of love. Are love and relationships hard? They never work out. They can't happen for me, or some things that we carry. Again, no self-love is huge. I'm too old, too unattractive. Old cords and energy from past relationships is another really big one. If you don't remove it, it stays there. And again, it takes up space in your energy, and it'll create other things from coming in, and you will keep creating the same thing over and over again. Abuse patterns can make you feel unloved. Can you receive love from a compatible life mate or others? Do you have some energy on not being enough to attract the perfect life mate or relationships? Can you receive love without deflecting, hiding, or refusing it? And are you willing to be vulnerable? And I mention this because an open heart is a vulnerable heart. And a lot of us that may feel kind of foreign to us at first, but it's good. It's a good feeling. Looking at some of these areas I just mentioned, what was your parents' reality about love? What did you grow up looking at? Were your caregivers loving, kind, and supportive to each other, or the opposite, mean, nasty, critical, angry, cheating, hitting? Did your parents feel love is hard and you settle? Men cheat, women spend all your money. These kind of environments can create blocks in our energy around love that will affect our relationships. Toxic love relationships starting usually in our teens. Bullying is another big one. Not clear can create repeat patterns around love, such as no matter how different the individual in a relationship is, it always ends with the same thing: cheating or abuse, falling out of love. They change as soon as you commit to them. What are your beliefs about love? Do you believe that a positive, loving relationship is possible? And if you are pursuing love at this time, how committed are you to it? Will you commit so many hours a week to online dating or hanging out with like-minded singles? Such as, like, if you like dogs, going to a dog park and going to like those kind of events where you'll be more apt to meet somebody with similar interests to you. And in spiritual truth, a lot of our beliefs about love were imprinted in our childhood before the age of 7. This is when we're learning to be human and absorbing everything going on in our orbit and in the orbit of those around us. I actually clear love blocks going up to about age 18 because I find them all the way up to those when we're living at home. Heart walls are another big area that can be blocking love from coming into our life. Heart walls are created by low vibration blocked emotions that have created a wall around your heart to protect your heart. And sorry, I got a gnat flying around my ears. These low vibe blocked emotions are created by negative type people, situations that our soul has put up a shield to protect us from this heavy energy. I also want to mention, when we use words like broke my heart, heartache, and heartbroken, we create energy that will carry this out energetically. I have seen cracks energetically in people's hearts, so be mindful of the words you choose. Heart walls can also block your receiving love, receiving abundance, and they can create actual heart issues within the heart. I've seen high blood pressure, low blood pressure, decreased heart rate, electrical issues, poor volume control. And I actually had one client who was passing out. Literally, they had no idea why he was just passing out, and we cleared his heart walls and it stopped. So,
Right. And I'm just going to pause you real quick, Cindy, and just backtrack a little bit, because one of the things I want to highlight is when we say, like, do you believe that you can have love? Do you believe whatever? And it's like our conscious mind rarely ever matches what's truly underneath that. It's like, yeah, of course I welcome it. Of course I welcome my soulmate. Of course I welcome having best friends that are soulmates. But what's happening is we come in through these incarnations with specific belief systems that get played out over and over and over again. And until that's observed, and you willingly have to release it, because I've had clients who we found the belief system, but they were attached to it. Like we couldn't, I like keep chiseling away. Like, I'm like, you have to let this go willingly. That's when we really start seeing shifts, because even though we're talking about love, meaning like romantic, I had a breakdown not too long ago because I'm frustrated where I meet what I feel are like these soulmate girlfriends. This like feeling like, wow, this could be like my best friend the rest of my life. And it's like clockwork. Within a year, they disappear on me. And I'm like, what is happening? And it came down to a belief system I held in myself that don't get too close to anybody. It's not safe. And that came from a series of past lives where, again, if I have everything in order, that it's taken away from me. So I'm so afraid of them leaving me that I create the leaving, if that makes sense. Yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that we want to keep digging at, because again, you can't take it personally. It's just an energy of a belief system, and we want to clear that out. So I just wanted to make that a little bit more clear. Go ahead, Cindy.
Yes, so I just had a few more things to cover here. One was, there may be dad energy, just trying to give some ideas on like your imprinting. There may be some dad energy you're running, pulling in less than desirable mates, keeping your vibe low. When you start removing the dad energy, you're also creating space. And I think we touched on that a little bit, for something different and more in alignment with you, what you're wanting to actually show up. So this energy, these emotions, it actually does take up space in our body and in our field. And there could be toxic love relationships and cords to OXs still in your energy, repelling off any potential partners. And that's actually very common. When I cleared my youngest daughter's heart walls, I mean, I was like, she's only 21 right now. Her heart walls were from a crush she had that was like her first love in middle school, 15 years old. But that, that can get stuck. That would have been stuck in her energy her whole life had we not pulled that out, or somebody else did at some point. But it left that mark, that young love she had. So it's not unusual when we start digging into old relationships and old cords, going to the root of it. It's going to be when we were really young and we first started, experiencing love and those kind of feelings. And a few kind of just bizarre things I've seen are these really thick energetic cords. I have seen cords, chains, razors, even a chastity belt energetically put in place by a toxic mate's negative energy and anger. I have found these in the penis, vagina, reproductive organs. And one comes to mind, there were these huge tree-like cords going through the vagina into the uterus. And when we pulled those out, she told me I started having normal menstrual cycles. She had not had normal menstrual cycles in 2 years. She had bled just constantly. She was always having a period. And another one was where a female had wrapped this negative energy around her ex's penis so he wouldn't ever have a normal sexual, because he was a cheater, right? Never have normal sexual relations again. And it was really messing with his life, but we removed that. And he was able, to carry on normally again. So we really can, with our strong intentions, do these kind of things to each other. And again, that will show up in some way.
Yeah. I just had a client who I never have seen this. Like I had to like triple, quadruple check. I'm like, is spirit actually showing me this right now? And she had like lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes ago, had this lover who like she was just head over heels for. And he did something that made her so angry that she killed herself. Like I could see her, she was jumping off something. And it was this, well, I'm going to show him.
Mhm.
Well, she came into another lifetime where, again, kind of similar situation, love of her life. And someone was envious of that and put like a spell or a hex or something on her. So she could never create a healthy relationship. But I asked Spirit, well, I'm like, what, how are those connected? What's happening here? And they're like, when you don't honor yourself, other people won't honor you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And it was like, they showed me that this is a hamster wheel. Like I couldn't even count how many lifetimes that she was experiencing this over and over and over again, like cannot create a connection. So we had to clear that out. And I'm curious how I should follow up with her. It's been a couple months, but like, that's how crazy this stuff is. Like wild stuff, wild.
Definitely be a lot going on.
Yeah.
And the scans that I did for today, we actually see a lot of these patterns that we're talking about too. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into those. Like, I can't wait to see the findings.
Where do you want to start with?
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay, well, let's do Amy first. Amy, let me pull it up here. I'm kind of like, I'm trying not to like rustle my papers. So. Amy. Where's Amy? Is she here?
Hello, I'm here.
Yep, she's here.
Oh, hi, Amy.
Hi.
Nice to see you. I did your scan and you were asking about your ability to connect deeply with others, your ability to connect deeply with yourself, and the struggle to love yourself more fully. So I looked at each three of those things individually. It's very interesting. A lot of past life stuff comes up under each one of them. But the first, like looking under this first one, your ability to connect deeply with others, I'm getting a program of self-worth issues, and that I'm getting in every one. Self-worth issues comes up a lot for you. And two past lives come up here, and they're both in Southeast Asia. So what do we do in Southeast Asia? We suppress our emotions, right? You know, that kind of thing. So it feels like there's a lot of that coming in, because on both of them, I got a hit on Asia. So that tells me you're being influenced a lot by, you know, what goes on in Asia, kind of the belief systems there, you know, the way you grew up there. But the first one that comes up was around 1910. You were male. This is in Indonesia, an area. You were some kind of trader. And the theme of this lifetime for you was growth. I get a hit on trust and faith in Asia. And I always like to look at the blocked emotions you brought forward from this past life. And I'm looking for any programs, because that kind of gives us an idea. So forceful, reactive, critical, criticizing you brought forward, or three heavy ones. And these are all from when you were a child, like 3 years old, from a dad with a heavy program of confusion and or overwhelm. That's also a heavy program for you. I got a lot in doing your scan. How are you with like procrastination? I'm just curious.
I do struggle with that.
Scholar, that could just be I mean, when I see this confusion and or overwhelm, a lot of times that's something that rolls with it, you know, procrastination, staller, waiting, putting stuff on hold kind of thing. But anyway, this trust and faith here, I think that's some of what's coming into play with why you don't totally connect with others, because you really just don't trust them. And also these past lives in Asia, I feel like there was a support issue, where you didn't feel supported, and that can lead to kind of like God blocks, if you will, where I'll kind of just read you what I got. This can also apply to the amount of faith you have in the universe or God. This is a sign to have faith and trust your prayers have been answered and everything, but it's just something you kind of learned in this past life. And this past life seemed you had an abusive and controlling father, but then the culture also kind of supported this. You could not be attached to anyone emotionally, And I get you were very ungrounded and unsupported. And that's something I got in a lot of these past lives, is that you were very ungrounded. You weren't able to really ground yourself into your family or into your surroundings, kind of thing.
That's how I feel now in this
Yeah.
lifetime. Yeah.
Okay. So see, that's been a pattern that's been with you now for several lifetimes, right? And here looking at Asia, this little thing I have on Asia, when I see it come up, it's just you've had a significant past life in Asia. You learned group harmony and the sacrificing of individuality in the Asian culture. The lessons of this lifetime need to be balanced with this lifetime. You may have been in the habit of suppressing your emotions and opinions in that lifetime. In this lifetime, it's essential that you're aware of your inner truth. But so I think those both are kind of affecting you, looking at why you're not opening up more to people. The second past life I picked up under this one is approximately 1350. You were female, and this is in Thailand, again, like Southeast Asia. You were a mother in this lifetime. You had a daughter and 4 sons, and growth was your theme. And I get a hit on love life, vows, and forgiveness in Asia again. So the blocked emotions that came up here were blame, critical, criticizing, and doubt. And this is from a father in your mid, like 11-ish, and that confusion and overwhelm comes up again. So again, this program, this is like 1350 versus 1910. It's still really heavy there. And this was a very chaotic life where you could never really ground yourself again. You supported yourself, you suppressed yourself, and you suppressed yourself for everyone else. You could not show emotions or develop close relationships. And when you did, they were removed from your life. And I really couldn't get a whole lot more, but it's like if you did get close to someone, for some reason, they were taken away. And let's see. Oh, and again, very ungrounded to yourself and your environment in that lifetime. So those are the 2 things I get coming up under, connecting with others. And in this lifetime, I'm also getting the self-worth issues. And I'll go into that, after I talk about your past life and stuff, but that's something that's coming up in the present, and the confusion and our overwhelm. But looking at the ability for you to connect deeply with yourself, I get 1 past life in the program of self-worth issues. Now, this past life is approximately 1750. You were female, again, Southeast Asia, Indonesia. You were a mother with a daughter and a son. The theme of this lifetime is stability and instability. So that's probably like you're going to have a lot of stability, then a lot of instability, right? Kind of thing throughout this lifetime. I get a hit on father, wisdom, and forgiveness in this lifetime. Some of the blocked emotions brought forward from this are redone, redo, and that's where you just play something over and over in your head, like I should have done this, I shouldn't have done that, why did I do this, that kind of thing. Loneliness and terrified. And you were very young here. You were 3 years old. This was dad like a dad. Again, that heavy program of confusion and our overwhelm. And you were very out of your body in this lifetime, I'm told. Again, you could not really ground into this reality on some level. Your father was a very typical Asian father, very unavailable, abusive, a drinker. There was a lot of chaos and disruption. I'm hearing that dad lost his job a lot and would uproot the family again and again. So you felt very unsupported, unable to feel safe and expressive, and you shut down your expression.
Did you say that was this lifetime?
Nope, this is 1750.
Oh, we're still in 1750. Okay.
Yeah, 1750. This is the second area that I looked at for her. And some of the things I get here, father, wisdom, and forgiveness. So your father's, been with you in different lifetimes. Very possible you have the same father now that you had in this lifetime. So dad is coming up.
I could definitely probably see that, because I feel like a lot of the patterns are repeating in this lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's very, very possible. And see, forgiveness comes up. So you might want to look at, forgiving. Do you have any, hold anything like unforgiveness towards your dad or anything?
I could probably work on that area. Yeah.
I just think that comes up. Wisdom comes up here. So you learned a lot of, you have a lot of knowledge from this lifetime, a lot of wisdom from this lifetime, but forgiveness and dad comes up. So there's probably some forgiveness for dad in this lifetime, you know, back in, what do we say, 1750, but you can also kind of apply it to your dad in this lifetime too, you know, or you could even meditate on that even and just say, you know, the lifetime, any forgiveness that needs to go to my father from past lives, I do it now, you know, just something like that. So, but that did come up in that lifetime. And looking at your struggles with self-love, I'm getting 4 past lives here. And again, that heavy program of self-worth issues. The first program that comes up here is, the first past life is 1690. You were female, and this is in the Caribbean, in the area of Puerto Rico, approximately. You had 2 daughters and a son, and the theme of this life was power. And I get lessons and blessings, transportation, leave and traveling, and phobias come up here. So this past life, it feels like you were constantly getting uprooted. Again, though, you couldn't really ground into your reality, into your life. You were constantly getting uprooted. You lost your mate somehow. I'm hearing you had a good mate, but here something happened and everything landed on you and you felt responsible for it, but it wasn't your fault. So I don't know exactly what happened, but it's interesting that leaving or travel comes up, and it says your relationships may have also involved you leaving your partner or being left by a partner who traveled. So I don't know if something happened while he was away, but anyway, you got left with everything and felt responsible for everything. And phobias comes up under that past life. Past life number 2, this is approximately 1560. You were female. This is in the area of Chile in South America. This one, I'm sorry.
So many past lives.
I know.
You know, it's like, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's like, because it's an educational workshop, I just kind of want to clarify on some things, because I talk about how our past lives deeply affect us. Like, we think it's something out there, but it's not. Like, our energy is constantly intertwined in all of this stuff. And one lifetime is not enough for our soul to complete what it's looking to do. So that's why these patterns come up, because we at a soul level want to experience these type of emotions, situations, circumstances, and see it from like all views. So imagine like a beach ball where they have all the different colors around it. It's like the same ball, but now we're coming in to experience the blue shade, the white shade, the pink shade. And until we can truly observe it and basically absorb that entire lesson is when we can finally let it go. So anywhere in your life, and this is for anybody, it's like where you see any level of conflict, any conflict, that is karma. And karma is not a bad thing. It's just that is something for you to look at, to forgive, and to clear. Mm-hmm. But real quick too, just because it's like so much information, I'm going to share my screen real quickly, because all these things, I'm a visual person myself. Mm-hmm. So I just want you guys to see what one of her summaries looks like, so it makes more sense, because it's like, I feel like this is our first language, so it's super easy, but I can imagine someone who hasn't seen this before might be like, what the heck is she talking about? So give me just, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm kind of freezing a little bit here. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because this is a summary of I just did a session with her like a week ago, and I had some stuff come up around the same thing. It was like self-esteem, self-sabotage. And again, it's like, where is this coming from? Like, why all of a sudden do I just have like no self-esteem? And yeah, so I go to Cindy, and it all was coming in from my mom. So this is very common, what we're seeing in Amy too, like the imprints of parents, connections to parents. And we just want to start clearing this out. So specifically, I had 30 million blocked emotions, which are these blocks we're talking about, literally sitting in my energy, creating this experience for me. And working with Cindy, this is what she's looking at. She's clearing this out. She's seeing where it was programmed, who, why, what, when, where, how, everything about it, so we can start dismantling the very things creating what it is that you don't want. So that's what she's talking about here, in case that wasn't clear, because there was just so much information. But look at all this. And this is only like, we only cleared 5% of mom programs for my energy. We are very intricate, energetic beings for sure. And then all my chakras were blocked too. So that was cool.
And we can send Amy and like Samantha a copy of everything too. You know, because it's a lot of
awesome. I was trying to take notes, but
yeah,
sure.
I have it all typed out here for you.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. My husband went somewhere on Sunday. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm doing scans today. So I got into it. I had some time.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, how much time we would have here, but that way, you've got some information.
Yeah. Now, were there anything else beyond past lives that showed up in her energy? Like as in terms of like, did she have any cords, blocked chakras?
Well, everybody has blocked chakras. I did find heart walls, and going on the self-love issues. And this, again, I go to the root of it, and it was dad. It came before you were. This started like one was the heavy program of confusion and our overwhelm was imprinted by dad before you were 1 year old. And this is just how we learn to be human, right? We take in that energy of our parents, our caregivers, the people around us. And the self-worth issues I get from dad around 3 years old. But I did find a lot of heart walls. I found 19 heart walls, and I found 9 hidden heart walls. And I have to ask you, because when I got to the hidden heart walls, these are all look like a bullying incident from when you were a child. Were you bullied around age 11? Do you remember?
I don't really remember. I know my brother him and his friends would kind of pick on me, but not like close friends that I had like growing up or with friends or anything.
Because I kept rechecking that, and that came up really heavy for you, a bullying energy around age 11. And when I started looking at the hidden heart walls, the first 3, that's what they were. Like flight or fight comes up, which is sucker punched, right? Malintent and malicious. And it's all from friends or like friends, and it's running with that program again of confusion and or overwhelm. Right. So that was the first 3 of the hidden ones, and the first 3 of the regular heart walls were all from dad, which is pretty common because he's, one of your caregivers and stuff. And so that's primarily what I found when looking at your energy, looking the questions you asked.
Right. And those heart walls are really tricky because this really, I mean, as it says, it's a wall. This prevents you from creating those deep connections because it's like, oh no, I'm not safe. Put those walls up. And especially when it comes to our childhood too, we always think that there has to be some big dramatic event or situation that's happened in order to create these blocks. But as children, we are so sensitive. And up until the age of 7, we are very, very deeply energetically connected into our parents. And there's a process in which we start dismantling from that. And if you read the Gene Keys, it's really fascinating because it will talk about how specific shadows and karmic patterns typically get triggered within one's energy from past lives around the age of 7. So before that, we're just kind of like this open vessel, and we're constantly reading other people, whether we're consciously aware of it or not, through our auras. So any little thing that we read from someone else where we think, oh, we're not safe, block, heart wall. So it doesn't have to be a big catastrophic event, but we do put this up, and it affects us as adults from that very precious age range of 0 to 7. And then we get hit with karma at 7. Sorry, I'm just entertained by all this. It's like, no wonder why life is so crazy. But yeah, that's when that imprint comes into our energy. But anyways, I just want to explain that. But those are quite a few heart walls, Amy. So that probably explains a lot too of why it's difficult to connect.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Did
Yes,
everything make sense to
yes,
you?
it did. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. And thank you, Amy, for being a subject matter today.
Thank you so much.
All right. And then we're on to Sam.
Sam.
Nah.
Am I saying not Samantha?
Good
Sam?
morning.
Am I
Samantha.
saying- Samantha?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you asked, why do I like emotionally unavailable men? Oh dear, talk about life stuff.
I love you.
I kept checking this because I'm like, is this right? I kept checking it. I got 25 past lives coming into play. 25.
Wow.
And I kind of like think of it as a spider web, you know, you've got all these different things going out here. So, yeah, so that is very heavy for you. And looking at this, everything I looked up, I have got a huge, very heavy program of fear. There's a very heavy program of fear running in all of these past lives and what I looked at in this lifetime as well. But so what I did was I asked for the 5 heaviest past life so I could give you some ideas on what that was all about. And they're not in chronological order. They're like in the order of heavy, you know, so they're jump around a bit. But the first one I came across was 1750. You were female. This was in the area of the United Kingdom in Europe. And another thing, artist comes up for you a lot. Your life has revolved around the arts, probably a lot. I got a hit on that a lot. So occupation in this lifetime was artist. Theme of this lifetime is fear. And I get a hit on forgiveness, finances came up, and vows. So in this lifetime, I got you were barren, and that brought you a lot of shame. And your partner and his family did things they should not have because of this. I guess there was maybe just felt like everybody was against you or something. And some of the locked emotions that came forward from this past life are blame, worthless, and misunderstanding. This came from your mate, again, with that heavy program of fears. So forgiveness comes up here. You probably like need to forgive them for being such assholes. You know what I mean? Because you see that. I mean, you probably have a lot of bad feelings about those people in that lifetime because of the way they treated you. Your finances come up here too, and vows. So there were some vows made in that lifetime that could be interfering with you in this lifetime. And I highlighted some things you can do to sever those. So when I send you a copy of that, you know, you can kind of work on that a little bit. The second past life that comes up is 1568. You were female. This is a Southeast Asia life in Singapore. You did something in some kind of education. The theme of this lifetime is fear again. And I get a hit on the arts again, unrequited love, and love life. And with the arts, I didn't see up here, what did it say on the arts? Did I not go into that? Oh, I thought I did, maybe it's down here. Life number 2. Some of the blocked emotions you brought forward from this past life are covert, secret, hidden, hush-hush, wrong, mistake, goofed, and abandoned. And with a a very strong program of fears. This was a secret relationship where your heart was broken and you could never be together. And the arts came up here and it says you may have artistic and creative talents that desire expression. You have worked in the arts and you have been involved in the arts in your prior lifetimes. And these abilities have been passed down from previous lifetimes. It came up so much for you. I think it's important to say that to you because I mean, it comes up in almost every single one. And so you also had a painful experience with love where you loved someone and, you know, you couldn't make that happen or they didn't share your feelings and your love life could be affected by this. So that was past life number 2. Past life number 3, approximate time, 1478, you were female. This is in Central America, Guatemala area. And you were the mother of 5 sons here. And I get a strong program of fear again. Oh, that was the theme of this lifetime was fear. I get a hit on love life, unrequited love, the arts, and orphan. Some of the blocked emotions you brought forward here are critical, criticizing, misunderstood, misunderstanding, and unremorseful. This was from a mate with a heavy program of fears. It looks like in this lifetime you were in love with another man, but you could never have him. You were in a totally an emotionally unavailable marriage. I'm hearing an emotionally abusive marriage. Art was your lifeline, and your sons, they loved and protected you in this lifetime. So it was that kind of thing. You know, you had a lot of heartache. And again, the arts came up, and you were an orphan in this lifetime. So I got a lot of abandonment fear came up for you as well. Past life number 4, this is approximately 1350. You were female. This is in South America, area of Colombia. You had 4 daughters, 3 sons, 1 was stillborn. Again, that heavy theme of fear. And okay, this was very sad because I got that, I got a hit on wars and battles, authority figures, and vows again. Some of the blocked emotions or decisions, story, drama, fears. You were older here, and this was programmed by an authority figure with that heavy program of fears running. And it feels like you were very happy in this lifetime. There was some conflict where your husband was like killed in front of you and your children, and this was devastating from you, and you never recovered from it. So I don't know if it was, you know, wars and battles come up, but you know, when you go back way in time, that could be conflict, you know, between people even, you know, there was some kind of conflict that cost you a lot in that lifetime. And the last one is 1850. You were female, North America, the United States. Artist comes up. Fears, again, that, I mean, all 5 of these have that theme of fears. And I get a hit on the arts, orphan, and baby. In this lifetime, you got pregnant and the baby daddy left you, abandoned you. You had to move to another area and make a whole new life. So you have this men leave thing going on, right? And you brought forward abandoned, conflicted, and fears in this lifetime. And you were pretty young here, like you're late, like 19-ish. And it was from a mate with a program of fears running. So orphan comes up here, the baby. And so those are the 5 heaviest past lives. Looking at this lifetime, I get the fears come up around age 11, around dad or like a dad. And I looked for fears before that time, like this program of fears is what I'm looking for, since that's what I saw. And I couldn't really find it before age 11, but I'm not convinced it's not there, but I looked for it and I couldn't find it. And this was from dad or like a dad. So, and I'm getting you're running this energy of fears in your energy now about 95%. And I found a total of 18 heart walls, 9 heart walls and 9 hidden heart walls. So the first 3 heart walls are all coming from dad, and the hidden heart walls are coming from a mate, it looks like, in your mid to late 20s. So that's what I came up with here.
That's great, Cindy. And you know, Sam, you can share whatever you're comfortable to share. And Sam and I know each other in real life, by the way, just to make that clear. You know, if there's anything you'd like to share, because there's a lot of parallels here with your life. And I think it would be really informative for people to see that, because these are karmic loops.
Yeah, I mean, the fear for sure is something, it's, I think what I struggle with really is I feel very free. I feel very giving with my love, a little too giving. And so it's hard for me to feel or believe that I have fear, but I definitely was experiencing some anxiety. It hasn't been as bad, but I know that a lot of that comes from my own thoughts. Again, fear, right? And then you bringing up the fact that the abandonment issue, my children's father, you know, left abruptly, and, you know, he's still very much involved in our lives and their lives, but never, you know, the way he left and the way he went about it after 7 years was devastating. Right. So when you bring up that, you know, there's these fears and yeah, I definitely have those fears, you know, and it's unfortunate, but it is my reality.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to just circle back to what I was saying earlier too, is where it's like, well, I don't really think I'm walking life fearful. I don't think I'm operating in that, but it's like so deep in there. And this is what's translating in our 3D reality. not the mindset. The mindset's like 5% of things. The subconscious runs the show.
Yeah.
So that's what we're finding is like, okay, well, I don't like this reality. I don't like not having a partner. I don't like these same things that keep showing up for me, but I'm putting in the right action. It kind of doesn't matter. It sounds so bad to say that. What's under there that's creating that? And these are the type of answers like, oh my gosh, like this is literally playing out in lifetimes. So what do I need to do? Let's clear it out, remove these programs so you can move into a space of attracting the right person.
Mhm.
But even before we, I don't know if you have anything else to say about Sam, but you know, vow as an orphan is an interesting subject too, because we create vows through these high stress, high emotional experiences. Like, I will never love again.
Yeah.
And then we don't. And it affects us. I had to clear out vows. It's a way more common than you would believe. And being an orphan, man, I've seen that in some of my clients. That messes people up. What have you seen with that, Cindy? I'm just curious.
Orphan?
Yeah.
Well, the abandon is a lot, you know, just that feeling of abandon, but and I had one that actually worked out really well because they chose that and they knew they were supposed to be like with their adopted parents. It was kind of interesting because they they didn't have a lot of those like abandonment issues, kind of typical things you see in that situation.
Right.
Because they felt like so connected to the fact of that was just the vessel I came through. That was not where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be right where I am right now. And they just knew that, you know, it was just
right.
Had that happen once before too, that I thought was kind of fascinating, that they felt so secure about it, but they had that deep knowing, you know, that deep knowing.
Right.
That,
Right. Because I've seen a handful of orphan situations from past lives connected to one's inability to create loving relationships now. And I'm always surprised. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because imagine like being a kid and having like no family. Like I can't fathom how unstable of a feeling that would be, but that goes deep in people's energy, even when it comes to their current lifetime for some reason. And I'm still kind of looking at that. I mean, I don't have much more to say about that, but it brings up a lot of, like you said, the abandonment energies. It brings up, oh, distrust in the universe is the biggest one I've seen. Like, why would I, like, I'm a child. That usually the anger comes later in life, feeling like, why would the universe put me here like that?
Not being supported.
Right. So yeah. Well, is there anything else, Cindy, you would like to add, or any questions anyone has?
Yeah, does anybody have any questions? I was going to mention, Amy, when I'm going to send you a thing I have on grounding. I wanted to write that down.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right. Well, I hope this was informative. I know it was a lot of information thrown at once, but I'm just really trying to highlight how I tell my alchemist clients this. I'm like, where there's a question, there's always an answer. Always. And you just have to ask the question, why? And suddenly things will start surfacing for you, but you have to go deeper. We have to get out of this paradigm that we live in, again, that the outside influences everything. Everything starts within us. And when we start changing the story, changing the belief systems, and taking power back is when we make those shifts, even if I don't care if it's love, money, life satisfaction, whatever. So if you were to book with Cindy, all these programs that we're talking about, she just goes in there and just clears them out. And some programs are going to be heavy, like Sam 25 lifetimes is going to take a while. Not like that long. I'm just saying more than like one session. But you can clear it out.
Yeah, it can all be cleared. It can
all of it. All of it. Because I've had some things like I said, I've been working with Cindy for years, and it's like there's just some things that are within my soul contract that I'm here to experience, period. So it's going to be heavier. It's going to take me a while. I'm moving through it. But then there are other things that just come up. I'm like, what the heck is that? Like I was cornered at the grocery store a couple weeks ago. Like these two guys tried to mug me, and I got drugged back in October. And I'm like, okay, what is this? And it was all these self-esteem issues attracting them, which is wild. But I'm like, no, you just got to keep clearing your energy. So there's always answers for you, and you always have more power than you think. So doing something like energy clearing can be profound. So if you want to work with us, you're welcome to book single sessions. I'll provide you the link, but she also is on my team inside the Alchemist. So all my clients inside this program, they work with me over a period of 6 months. We just do a deep dive to move them out of stuck. So when your conscious actions, positive mindset no longer work for you, it's time to acknowledge the beneath subconscious consciousness systems that are keeping you where you are. So you work with an entire team of healers, including myself, and we just come in from all angles and just start clearing. It's all about clearing. So I'll also leave that information. You are welcome to apply. So anyways, thank you so much, everybody. I will see you at the next workshop.
Thank you. Nice meeting you all.